South Coast shit, man. Shout out Bar Dog, Tennessee, a little bit, nigga. Hey, get the money, hey. That's what the fuck going on out there, motherfucker, man. Hey. Hey, get the money, nigga. Taste the paper, bitch. Keep all of your morals, never slave for shit. Ice up on my wrist. Yeah, I'm hood rich. I don't give a fuck about to get popped quick. Yeah, I'm on that shit. Yeah, I'm in the town. Niggas talking about that G, but they ain't come around. They can't even come around. Yeah, I'm up, nigga. Man, fuck all of these hoes, get the bucks, bitch. I'm a young rich nigga, I ain't tryna flex. You can tell I'm cold by the ice around my neck. Straight up BBS, I charge you, boy, you wanna test. I don't get no shot up by a nigga or a bitch. Boy, I love the life I live, cause a nigga keep it real. Nigga freshly hell, take that drip, but get your spill. I ain't little flip, getting pimped up out of his. I'm a straight G-though, getting paper like a miso. That's that South Coast stain if you're tryna hang. U.P.K the body bang, boy, we rep the same. Nigga try that talk, but we rep that murder game. Get your ass pop, ain't nothing to a G. Hold up, bitches wanna fuck, but hell nah, I don't pay no fee. Bitches leak 2G, got that ice, I make it sneeze. All these niggas lame as hell, can't even come around me. Bitches South Coast, South Carolina, bitch, I'm styling, yeah.
Hell ain't no demons get control of me. No money get the best of me. No bitches getting up over me. Don't want much, nigga, I'm sucker free. That's the way it gotta be. These niggas chain, these bitches chain, y'all chain is soak me. For real, this brotherhood a weapon. And bitch, we carry weapons. Like a rob on nigga ass, don't even need a weapon. And y'all be well protected. And y'all be well respected. And if you got a problem, then y'all better address it. You cross that line, we ain't show no mercy. Cross that line, you ain't gon' need search. We pull up and they getting up. She ain't making no move, you ain't got no purse. On I.S.U.P.K, so I ain't never worried. I'm putting the murk, both of my hands dirty. For real, I learned from the OGs. I'm a young nigga, but I'm a certified priest. And I'm from Tennessee. And it's mandatory that I gotta keep my heat. You should play it safe, and we gon' play with keys. For real.
Yo, this be actually really hard.
U.P.K shit, South Coast shit, man. Shout out Bar Dog, Tennessee, a little bit, nigga. Hey, get the money, hey. That's what the fuck going on out there, motherfucker, man. Hey. Hey, get the money, nigga. Taste the paper, bitch. Keep all of your morals, never slave for shit. Ice up on my wrist. Yeah, I'm hood rich. I don't give a fuck about to get popped quick. Yeah, I'm on that shit. Yeah, I'm in the town. Niggas talking about that G, but they ain't come around. They can't even come around. Yeah, I'm up, nigga. Man, fuck all of these hoes, get the bucks, bitch.
Yeah, I got that power that love me so much. Do it so big I cannot be touched. Look to the hill that cometh my help. My faith in the power and not in a man. He give me the tools, I'm building my plan. Living my life, obeying the man. I stand up tall, my back don't bend. Dunk on demon like Shaq in his prime. Transform, no Optimus Prime. You gotta get yours, I already got mine. My power gon' live, they power gon' die. Praising the king that sit in the sky. He give me the joy, he give me the peace. Fan on my feet and I pray to the east. Wisdom and knowledge, I gotta go eat. Just call me a shark, I live in the sea. Open your eyes and you're gonna see that masterpiece that I am him, cause I'm not them. I can swim above the rim of their success. And when it comes to dodging mess, yeah, I'm the king of that BS. I'm getting strong, I like the flex. U.P.K, we blow up next. Yeah.
Time to get rich, boy, it's time to get lit, boy. She pour me a drink without asking. I don't even know little shorty or see what she posts, so that bitch must be crazy. I'm way too lit, yeah. We way too lit, yeah. Showing this bitch, boy, my true ass prince, so you know what nigga flipping tables.
Yeah. And they say, all who hate us whisper together against us. They saying all kind of false and evil things against us. But if the power is with us, then who the fuck can be against us, huh? He teach us not to fret and envy over evil deeds, to stand firm in the words, to dodge the evil schemes. Yeah, so we hold our peace and now we mute. It's only the devil, so that we rebuke. Yeah. The hands of the wicked won't drive us away. So we stand on our feet and we face the east. We trust in the Lord, so we meditate and wait. Meditating every night. We doing what's pleasing in His sight. Yeah. It's a battle that we cannot lose. It's only the power that He gave us that we couldn't refuse. Yeah. So if my enemies is hungry, then I feed them. If they thirsty, then I'ma give them a drink. I ain't gonna hold them with a knife and I ain't gonna threaten to slice. But instead I open the loaf and I just hand them a slice of the bread of life. Yeah. Many will hear and a few will take heed, but I wanna be judged by my good deeds. Yeah. Obedience. Yeah, long suffering, patience. Yeah. UPK, we up now, later, and forever. Yeah. Hey, if y'all wanna know where y'all bitch at, she at the nearest camp trying to join our school. I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing. Hey, y'all don't put me in council, but I'm rocking it out with Officer Shaw. We in the studio. We gotta get up out of here. You heard? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even wanna talk if you can't keep some shit I told you deep. Fuck you talking about, but you a hoe with all that gossiping. Put that on my mom, you broke the code, boy, I know you switching like a faggot that hoe, boy, you pure pussy. They say what's wrong with me. Sick and tired of these fuck boy with low more than energy. Can't talk positive, keep that shit far away from G. Cause this shit every day, but make it change or I put it. All up on my shit, like a bitch that say she used to know me. I can't remember shit. All this logic got me far from dummies. Ice up on my wrist, like I'm shooting hoops and spraying it slowly. These bitches really ain't shit. Even the Bible let you know she hoeing. Fuck you got to say? Talking to niggas pulling burning ports. Seeking validation, can use a basic bitch called her Jehovah. All these niggas gay, yeah, all these niggas know I know it. Lame nigga in the way, boy, your spot is mine, let get reported. I walk in that bitch in the climate. I walk in that bitch and I'm shining. I walk in that call me YAHANNA. I'm a real nigga hit with the hymen. You run, I get hit with the Heisman. Nigga acting like hoes for enlightenment. Bitch ain't rust ass. I don't even wanna talk if you can't keep some shit I told you deep. Fuck you talking about, but you a hoe with all that gossiping. Put that on my mom, you broke the code, boy, I know you switching like a faggot that hoe, boy, you pure pussy. They say what's wrong with me. Sick and tired of these fuck boy with low more than energy. Can't talk positive, keep that shit far away from G. Cause this shit every day, but make a change or I cut it deep. Listen to the G, got these diamond down like James Brown. Let's see where I be, I see you talking to her from out of town. Stick on by the bean, now that shit ain't need for fashion fool. Up and tight to cut your head off and watch it rotten too. AR-223, one hit wonder, bitch, I know I'm striking. Shout out Cub Key, no it's 2G like lightning. These niggas around the hood, no understood that I'm far from normal. U.P.K the shield, let you know that I don't fuck with Muslims. Bitch, you talking about what, but look at me. You talking about what, boy, I'm about it. You talking about what coming at me. All these fuck nigga boss, I ain't thinking. All these fuck nigga bosses just shrinking. And lame ass lives, fuck ass nigga, weak ass, baby ass gangsta. I don't even wanna talk if you can't keep some shit I told you deep. Fuck you talking about, but you a hoe with all that gossiping. Put that on my mom, you broke the code, boy, I know you switching like a faggot that hoe, boy, you pure pussy. They say what's wrong with me. Sick and tired of these fuck boy with low more than energy. Can't talk positive, keep that shit far away from G. Cause this shit every day, but make a change or I cut it deep.
You a lame ass hoe ass bitch, boy. You know that shit deep inside you, lame ass, dirt ass nigga. Take a bath. Dirt ass mouth, nigga.
started out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. What we teach is that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel according to the Bible, according to history, according to archaeology. You understand? We've been bringing this out since 1969. You understand? You know, and I gotta give a hand. You know, I gotta give a hand to the Most High, man, because the Most High was merciful enough. You understand, to raise up the I.S.U.P.K to be able to teach us the truth in these last days of who we are and where we come from. You understand, to teach us his laws, statutes, and commandments so that we can come together as a nation again. You understand, and out of this hell, you understand, that we live in under this oppressor. You understand, we this oppressor that we live under, you understand, is a terrible oppressor. You understand? As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you, today we're going to talk about the North American Indians. You understand? And the truth about who they are and where they come from. A lot of people think that, they have all types of speculations as far as where the Native Americans come from, who they are and who they descend from. I've heard things so far as Native Americans descend from Chinese people. You understand? Like how can that be when I don't see not one Chinese person on the reservation? You understand? It's like, anytime I've ever stepped on the reservation, what I've seen was people that look like the 12 tribes. You understand? I've seen Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans on these reservations. I've never seen a Chinese person on the reservation. You understand? I don't see no shrimp fried rice getting cooked on the reservation. You understand that the cultures are completely different. One of the main theories was that those were people who traveled across the Bering Strait, but that's not true, because the Bering Strait, you couldn't even walk across that. You understand? And not only that, you understand, even when you look at it today, all of that so-called Bering Strait has thawed out, and you see that there's not a land bridge that connects in that area. So how can people walk across it? You understand? So it's all lies that people have been teaching our people for centuries. It's all lies. You understand? And Native American history is no different than Black history. They tell Black people that we come from Africa. You understand? They tell, what I mean? They tell Black people that we was hunting lions in the jungle in Africa. And then they say Native Americans was a break off of Chinese people. You understand? But all of that is a lie. All of that is false. And we're going to expose the truth today. You understand? And I'm also going to show you that it's no secret who the Native Americans are. It's always been known who our people are. No, Christopher Columbus didn't come over here thinking, he didn't just guess. It wasn't a gamble that he took to discover America. It wasn't something he didn't just get on a ship and sail to the sky, to the horizon. You understand? Just to hopefully discover a new land. No, he knew that there was another land across the ocean. He knew that there was a people that lived in that land across the ocean. And he knew that he knew the truth about who those people were before he ever stepped foot in the Western Hemisphere. Right. You understand? So if I could, Baba Kashah, can you give me in the Bible? Give me Deuteronomy 7:6. You understand? This is one of my favorite scriptures to bring out. You understand? It's one of my favorite scriptures because Black people, Hispanic people, and Native American people, we live in America under this oppressor who finds every opportunity that he can to show you or teach you that you are less than him, that you are less than the other nations, that you don't deserve due process, that you don't deserve, it's some devils out that believe that We don't deserve to even eat the same food that grows out of the same dirt that their food grows out of. You understand? Like we live under a monster in America. You understand? And that's why I'm so thankful for the men in the I.S.U.P.K. for teaching this truth all across the world, and to give our nation a second chance to return to the Most High, so that we can come up out of this captivity. You understand?
Right.
Read that scripture when you got it out.
Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people.
Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, you are a holy people. You are holy. You understand? You are a holy people means that you are set apart. You are separate. You are different from every other people on this earth. You understand? And when you just line up, if you was to line up every nation on the earth, side, down the list, side by side, you understand? You would clearly see which nation has culture, which nation has a rich culture, which nation has better food, what nation has better music, what nation dress better. You understand? What nations are just more have a stronger culture. You understand? You could just look at us and tell, just being in this nation. You understand? We grow up oftentimes where even our parents, our grandparents, they even carried themselves with so much dignity, even in the midst of their oppression. You understand? They carried themselves with so much dignity in the midst of their oppression, because we are such a holy people. We are a special people. You understand? Read on.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Unto who?
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto who?
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto the Lord thy God. You understand? That's an important piece of that scripture. Unto the Lord thy God. You understand? The Most High of this Bible is the God of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? The God of the Bible is the God of Black people. The God of the Bible is the God of Hispanic people. The God of the Bible is also the God of Native Americans. You understand? Many Native Americans, we hear all the tales about Native Americans calling the Most High the Great Spirit. You understand? Have you ever heard that, Nayar? You ever heard that term? The Great Spirit. Shaw, have you ever heard that term?
Yeah, I heard the Great Spirit. I heard it before.
Okay, yeah, that you've heard that before, Akash. So the Great Spirit is what many people understand as the God that was worshipped by the Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? But we're going to show you proof that the Native Americans not only worshiped the Most High, but they also knew the name of the Most High. You understand?
Right.
Read on.
The Lord thy God have chosen thee.
He have done what?
Have chosen thee.
The Lord has chosen you. You understand? The Lord have chosen Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Do you understand? He didn't choose everybody on this earth.
Right.
If that's the case, then it wouldn't be, he wouldn't be talking to Israel saying that you are a holy people.
Right.
You understand? The Lord said he has chosen thee. He's chosen Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He didn't choose nobody else.
Right.
You understand? He didn't choose the Chinese man. You understand? He chose you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. And why is that so righteous? You understand? The Lord has chosen you, and the world hates you. The Chinese man hates Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. You understand? The Arab man hates Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They find every opportunity they can to exploit and rob our people. You understand? I saw a video the other day where there was a Chinese woman. She wasn't even an American citizen. You understand? There was a homeless brother laying on the street, and it turned out that the brother was actually a veteran.
Right.
You understand? He was a homeless veteran. This brother fought in war for America, for America, for people to have the right to be able to walk down the street and with a rainbow flag on, you know, saying talking about LGBT pride.
Right.
You understand? He watched his closest friends die in the battlefield. You understand? For people to have the right to shoot fireworks on the 4th of July.
Right.
You understand? For these immigrants to have the right to come to America and make a better life for them. He died for that right, for that to be done.
Right.
You understand? And here this Chinese woman is walking up to this brother who put his life on the line so that she could be able to come to America to have a better life. And she's sitting there kicking him, trying to get him to get up and move.
Right.
You understand? Listen, man, these nations are an abomination before the Most High.
Right.
You understand? And the Lord is going to judge all of these nations real soon. You understand? Stay tuned and watch the news because World War III is knocking at America's door as we speak. You understand? And it's only right. It's only right that America gets hit with thermonuclear wars and just burn indefinitely. It's only right. With all the murder that they committed against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, America deserves to burn.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
To be a what?
A special people.
To be a what?
A special people.
The Lord has chosen Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be a special people, and you are a special people.
Right.
You understand? You are a special people. Every time you turn on the radio and you hear that beautiful, beautiful music coming from Blacks and Hispanics, you can hear it that we are a special people.
Right.
You understand? You can see all the movies, the TV shows, and the actors, the dancers, the athletes, just even down to fashion and sports and entertainment and every other thing. You know, even all the inventions that America has taken credit for comes from the minds of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
Because we are a special people.
That's right.
You understand? We are a special people. We are not like these other nations. You understand? These other nations, they have to rob and steal and what they call culturally appropriate or appropriate other people's culture. You understand?
Right.
Just to have some sort of gumption about themselves. You understand? Even the structure of government, the structure of American government was, you know, even that structure, the way the states are set up, and each state has a seal and signet, and each office has a seal and signet. All of those things were stolen from the culture of the Bible.
Right.
You understand? And all of that culture was given to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans from the Most High because we are a special people. You understand? Read on.
Okay. Above all people.
Above what?
Above all people.
Above what?
Above all people.
Now, let me ask you a question. Right now in America, in the world, you understand, is Blacks and Hispanics above everybody? Are we equal to everybody? You understand? We are below every nation on this earth.
Right.
We are below them.
Right.
You understand? What other nation lives on a reservation in their own land?
Right.
You understand? Does a Chinese man live in a Chinese reservation in China? Does a Russian man live in a Russian reservation in China? You understand? The Lord has chosen us to be a special people above every nation. You understand? But we forgot who we was. You understand? We forgot who we was, and our forefathers turned away from the Most High and broke his laws and commandments. And because of that, the Lord sent us into this oppression. You understand? He sent us over here to be oppressed because of what our forefathers did. You understand? And now is our chance to make it right with the Most High.
Right.
Now is our chance to turn back to who we are and where we came from and be that special people again. You understand? And to be above every nation. And how are we going to be above every nation? You understand? We're going to be above every nation because when Christ comes back, he's going to destroy every kingdom on this earth.
That's right.
And he's going to assume rulership over the entire earth. and we're going to serve as the kingdom of Israel, as the kingdom of heaven over all the earth.
Right.
You understand? I want you to drop that for me.
Okay.
You understand? So we're going to get into the Native Americans. You understand? I want you to pull up this book that I just handed to you. You understand? And read the title of that book for me, Baba Kasha.
So the title of this book is called The History of the American Indians.
You understand? The history of American Indians. You understand? This is a huge part of so-called American history that has been wiped out from the history books.
Right.
They don't teach you this information in middle school and high school. They skip over that. You understand? They skip straight to Christopher Columbus discovered America, American Revolution,
right.
George Washington. You understand? The Declaration of Independence. That's what you learn in your social studies and your histories class. You learn all about the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. You understand? You learn all about the Boston Tea Party. You understand? You hear about all these things that America has done, but they cover up the atrocities that America has done. You understand? George Washington was a
Go
ahead.
You about to say something? Oh no, you good. Hey, I was just about to say, didn't he have slaves too?
Not only did George Washington have slaves, but George Washington he unalived thousands of Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? Which is why he was famous in battle. It's because of his battles against the Native Americans. You understand? Which is why they rallied behind his leadership during the American Revolution. During the American Revolution, there was no unified army that fought against the British. The American Revolution was just a bunch of different militias that fought for a common cause.
Right.
You understand? And that common cause, the leaders of those militias followed George Washington.
Right.
So the foundation of America was a military. That was the original government of America. That was the armed forces existed longer than the American government. You understand? George Washington led them in battle in the American Revolution, and because of those things, that's why they ended up making him the first president of the United States.
Right.
You understand? And so, George Washington, he orchestrated the it's hard not saying those words.
Yeah. Alternative lifestyle?
No, not alternative lifestyle. He orchestrated the snuffing out of the unaliving of many Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? He's responsible for many Native Americans losing their lives in battle. You understand? He took the lives of many Native Americans, of many, and he had slaves the entire time. You understand? And even while he was president, he had slaves. You understand? George Washington was so disgusting that he had slaves. He lived in Virginia. And he was so disgusting that, I believe there was a law at the time where if you were a slave and you were in Philadelphia for, I think it was like 60 days.
Right.
And if you were in Philadelphia for 60 days, then you would give them your freedom. George Washington would send his slaves back every 30 days just to travel all the way to Virginia and turn around and come all the way back just so that they can continue to be slaves. You understand? That's how disgusting these leaders are in America. You understand? We serve under this oppressor. And our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
Because only a devil would take the lives of hundreds of millions of people and then act like it's those people's fault. You understand? Only a devil would do that. They got a term for that. They call it gaslighting. You understand? Our oppressor gaslights. He gaslit Native Americans like crazy. Said that they were savages and murderers and rapists. You understand? Just to justify the murder of innocent Salakia. Just to justify the unaliving. I don't like saying that word. Go to I mean, yeah, we need a thesaurus in the school.
I think we do got one.
We got a thesaurus.
It ain't a thesaurus.
Taking a life on.
Let me see.
Life taking.
I'm gonna find me a good word. I'm gonna find me a word.
Tough time we live in. Life. And you know what?
Extermination.
Yeah, that's extermination. Yeah, that's a good one.
Assassination.
Right.
Execution.
Hopefully this shit.
These are some good words. Why couldn't I think of these? You understand? The extermination. The execution. He orchestrated the execution or the extermination of so many Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? It's so many of us have been dispatched. That's a good one. Slain. So many of us have been slain by America.
Right.
You understand? And they look at us like we deserve it. You understand? They look at us like we deserve it.
Right.
You understand? All right. Now go ahead.
I was about to say slain.
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 Yeah, those are some good words. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, YouTube make you pull out the source. You understand? Go ahead and read that. Start on that page, on that paragraph.
COMCAST.
All right.
It says by a strict permanent divine precept, the Hebrew nation were ordered to worship at Jerusalem.
Says what?
It says the Hebrew nation were ordered to worship at Jerusalem.
So what James Adair is stating is he's making a point about, first of all, this entire book is about the Native Americans. What James Adair put this book together because what he was James Adair was a salesman. And he traded things like ivory. That was one of the main products that he sold. And he had gotten, and at this time, if you were to be a salesperson in the American colonies, you had to get a license to sell, just like how you get a business license today. You have to get an LLC if you're going to conduct business. You have to have a license or certifications in order to be an electrician. You have to have license, and you have to have a license to drive. Right. And then you also have to have a different license to drive what you call it, a transit truck, a semi truck.
Box truck.
Well, I don't think you need one to drive a box truck, but but you need a CDL license to drive like the 18 wheelers. Right. You understand? So just like today, back then, in order to conduct that type of trade, you had to have licenses and approvals and things like that in order to be able to do that. Right. James Adair was a salesman. He sold ivory, and his fortune came from him trading goods between the Native Americans. So James Adair being in South Carolina, I almost said from South Carolina, but nobody who was in South Carolina was from South Carolina. Right. You understand? But James Adair You know, James Adair, he had you know, did a lot of trade with the Native Americans. So he would trade them ivory, and the Native Americans would give him deer skins. Right. And then he would take the deer skins and bring that back to South Carolina, and he would sell deer skin as leather for clothes, for holsters, for belts, you know, whatever kind of thing our oppressor wanted to put together using the deer skins. You understand? That was what his bread and butter was trading ivory for deer skins. You understand? And in the years that he did this, he noticed many characteristics about the Native American people that were completely different from the propaganda that was getting put out about Native Americans at the time. There was tons of propaganda that was put out saying that Native Americans were savages. You can't trust them. You understand? They're going to murder you. They're going to eat you. They cannibals. They kill babies. They sacrifice humans. You know, all types of madness that was being put out about the Native Americans. You understand? But James Adair was he was like a Christian. You know, he like a Christian. You know, he don't necessarily know. He don't necessarily realize. You know, he was one of them kind of people that wasn't necessarily what they call in the know. Right. You know, he didn't necessarily know that there was a plan to exterminate the Native American race. He didn't necessarily get that memo. So what he was trying to do was trying to build a connection between our oppressor, the Europeans, and the Native Americans. So he put together this, you know, whenever you go before like Congress and things like that, they have arguments. And an argument is just simply a case that you're building. You understand? And he put together this book. It was just, and this book really wasn't a book that he started out with. It was really just all the documented proof that he had talking about the Native American customs and culture. And what he's saying in this line, in this passage, in this paragraph here, is he's pointing out something significant about Jewish people, about the so-called Jews and the Hebrews. Right. And so what he's saying, read that line again.
Okay. By a strict, permanent, divine precept, the Hebrew nation were ordered to worship at Jerusalem.
So he's saying that the Hebrews were ordered to worship at Jerusalem by a strict divine precept, meaning the Bible, meaning the words of Moses. You understand? Read on.
Jehovah, the true and living God.
Who?
Jehovah, the true and living God.
Jehovah, the true and living God. Now, Jehovah, of course, is a mispronunciation. You understand? That's not the name of the Most High, but that is who the world, that is how the world translated the Hebrew text. They translated the Hebrew text to say Jehovah. You understand? Read on.
And who by the Indians is still styled, I think I'm saying that right, styled Yahweh.
Read that again.
And who by the Indians is and who by the Indians is styled Yahweh.
Read that again.
And who by the Indians is styled Yahweh.
So here, right here, James Adair, in his times doing business with the Native Americans, he learned that, you know what? The Jewish people call God Jehovah, and the Native Americans worship a God that they call Yahweh. You understand? Go ahead.
So, I mean, I don't mean to get off the subject if I am, but this means that they know our native tongue, which is Hebrew. Right?
Yes, brother hand. That was the next point that I was going to make. You understand? That's the next point. Now, I was trying to find this other book. It's another book that I have that'll go into that a little more detail. But this right here, what the brother said is so heavy, because this right here proves something long before, Listen, the ISUPK started in 1969. Prior to the ISUPK, nobody in the world knew the Lashawan Kodash. Nobody knew the proper pronunciation of the Lashawan Kodash. And then since we started teaching it, it's been so many scholars out, so many PhD and MD and history majors and linguists and what they call it, the people that studied about theologians. So many of these people try to disprove the Lashawan Kodash. Tell us that we're wrong when we say the name Yahweh. You're wrong. That's not how you pronounce it. You understand? You got some fake Israelite groups teaching some completely different name. You understand? Ahaya. You heard that? You got Israelite groups out there saying Ahaya is the name of the Most High. You understand? That sounds like they doing karate. Ahaya. You understand? But the Native Americans, they call God Yahweh. You understand? Read on.
Which 72 interpreters, either from ignorance or superstition, have translated Adonai.
Adonai.
Adonai, and is the very same as the Greek Kyros, signifying sir, lord, or master, which is commonly applied to earthly potentates.
So to give you an understanding on what the Native Americans, the type of things that they were saying, just to give you an idea of not only did they were they this is so heavy. This is why it's so beautiful that the I.S.U.P.K sprang out of the earth in 1969. This is why it's so beautiful, because nowhere on this earth are you going to learn the things that are written in this Bible, like what's taught in the UPK. Not only did they call the Most High Yahweh, but they also called each other Adawan. Right. You understand? And it was mistranslated as Adonai. That's what is written. So they mistranslated even that, but they were calling each other Adawan, like how we say Khan Adawan. You understand? Which means sir or master or Lord. Native Americans had the same thing. So if you're a Native American, what you're looking at in the I.S.U.P.K is Native American culture. Who are the Native Americans? Native Americans are the people that knew the name of the Most High. Right. Native Americans are people who spoke Hebrew. You understand? Read on.
Without the least signification of or relation to that most great and awful name, which describes the divine essence, who naturally and necessarily exists of himself, without beginning or end.
So it's talking about the Most High. You understand? Read on.
The ancient heathens, it is well known, worship a plurality of God.
You understand? So what he's saying is that it's well known that all the nations of the earth worship a plethora of gods. Right. You understand? All the nations, I can't even think of some of the other gods. Krishna. I don't know. What's some other gods that people worship on the earth? I know the Islam or the Arabs, they worship all types of gods. I don't know. Gilgamesh, Sheba, what's some other ones? You know, who cares?
They think they self for God.
Yeah, right. Our oppressor thinks he's God.
Right.
You understand? He believes there is no God. He's hoping that there is no God. You understand? Read on. Because if there is a God, then he knows that he has to answer for his crimes.
Right.
You understand? So he's hoping that there is no God. You understand? Read on.
The gods which they formed to themselves according to their own liking, as various as the countries they inhabited, like,
Go ahead.
and as numerous with some as the days of the year.
So what he's going into is talking about all the different nations. All the nations of the earth historically worship all different types of gods. You understand? They worship all different types of gods. You know, even like the Aboriginals and things like that. You know, they worship some of them worship the water. You know what I mean? Worship the bugs. You understand? Or worship the moon and the stars. You know, they worship all these ridiculous things because that's what heathens do. You know, heathens, they don't know no better because the Most High didn't choose them.
Right.
You understand? But the Native Americans, however, knew the name of the Most High. You understand? And he's baffled by this. How do these Native Americans know Yahweh?
Right.
How do they know about Yahweh? They ain't no Bibles out here in these lands.
Right.
They ain't got no the King James Version Bible ain't get delivered over here. We got all the Bibles. What they know about Yahweh? You understand? Matter of fact, they tripping because they like, wait a minute, we pronounce it Jehovah, but they calling them Yahweh. Whoa, something ain't right. Read on.
But these Indian Americans,
the Native Americans. So he's saying all the other nations, they worship all these other crazy gods. All the stars and moons and waters and mountains and rocks and bugs and 6-armed transgenders and, you know, all types of different things. You understand? But the Native Americans, read on.
But these Indian Americans paid their religious devour to Lok, Ish-Tahol, Loaba,
Let's read past it.
the great benefits of Supreme Holy Spirit of fire, who resides, as they think, above the clouds.
Now hold that. Now they worship a God that is a Holy Spirit of fire. Right. I want you to pull this scripture for me in the Bible, Baba Shah. I want to show you something. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 24, Baba Shah.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 24. For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God.
Read that part again.
For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire.
So the Most High is a consuming fire. This in the Bible. You understand? It's in the Bible that the Most High is a consuming fire.
Right.
You understand? Now go back to that book and read that part again.
The great benevolence, like supreme Holy Spirit of fire.
You understand? So the Native Americans had to have known the Most High. It's too many coincidences. Right. You understand? They knew the name, they spoke Hebrew, right, and they know that the Most High is a consuming fire, which is written right here in the Bible. You understand? As opposed to what? As opposed to worshiping all the different gods of the earth. As opposed to worshiping, you watch that movie. Anybody watch that movie Pocahontas? Anybody ever seen that cartoon Pocahontas?
old one, right?
Huh? Yeah. It was like a Disney movie.
Yeah, right.
You seen Pocahontas? Yeah, it's like a cartoon.
I seen it.
So in that movie Pocahontas, they try to make it seem like Native Americans worship the wind and the leaves and the trees. You understand? Like they some hippies.
Right.
Smoking the peace pipe and hugging trees. You understand? That's how America wants you to think of the Native Americans.
Right.
They want you. They push this narrative so much to where even Native Americans think that they worship these things.
Right.
You understand? Oftentimes you talk to brothers and sisters from the tribe of Gad, you know, they'll be ready to fight you over, man, we believe in trees and rocks.
Right.
You understand? We don't believe in no Bible. You understand? But yet this man right here witnessed y'all worshiping the Most High. You understand? He witnessed things that never came out until 1969.
Right. Right there.
You understand? He witnessed things that nobody on the earth even uttered out their mouth until the men in the UPK spoke. You understand? Read on.
Okay.
We got any questions in the chat?
Live. So we just got people checking in. We got Officer Watkins-Up, and then we got Sister Alicia Mardaker's Rib, and then we got Sister Angela Evans says Shalom. Shalom.
Most High. She said something else. She said Shalom. No sweat. Shalom, sis. You understand? And Shalom, who said Ratazak?
Yeah,
Shalom to Ratazak. And who else?
Sister Alicia Mardaker's Rib.
And Shalom, Sister Alicia.
And that's it.
All right, Most High in Christ. All right, so go ahead and read on. Huh?
Who resides as they think above the cloud and on earth also with unpolluted people.
You understand? Meaning of righteous people. You understand? Meaning that he dwells amongst the righteous. You understand? He don't dwell amongst the wicked. You understand? Read on.
He is with them, the sole author of warmth, light, and of all animal and vegetable life.
You understand? Meaning everything comes from this God. This God that's worshipped by the Native Americans. You understand? All life comes from him. You understand? They're not worshiping the plants and the earthquakes and watermelons. Tiger. They ain't worshiping that. You understand? And see, and here's another thing, and and I think we're gonna get to it, but you know how you anybody ever heard of a totem pole?
I heard that word. What is a totem pole? Yeah.
So a totem pole, a totem pole was, it had correct me if I'm wrong, but it had it was a pole, and it had the face of a bear up, or a wolf up top, had the face of an eagle, face of a lion, and I think the face of a bear maybe. I forget the actual breakdown of the totem poles. I think it's actually in this book. Right. So yeah, show a picture of this totem pole right here. Yeah, so this right here was a totem pole. Now these totem poles, you can go ahead and put it down now. So these totem poles, the significance of these totem poles was where they were ceremonial. And what they used to do with these totem poles is they used to pull them out and hold them, and they used to dance with them. Right. And what they did was these totem poles would oftentimes lead them in battle. So whenever they were going to battle, they would carry these totem poles. And with these totem poles, they used the totem pole symbolically the same way Israel uses the Ark of the Covenant. Right. So it was like a symbolic Ark of the Covenant as far as the way they use it and how they use it and the purpose that it served. It was like the Ark of the Covenant. You understand? And the different animals that were on that were, I think it was like the I think it represented like it had something to do with like the end times. You understand? The eagle being like America's rulership, and then like the bear or something. I can't remember how it was all broken down, but the totem pole was like their Ark of the Covenant.
Right.
So it would precede them in battle. If they were going to battle, if they carried this totem pole, they felt like the Lord was with them. You understand? Read on. So they were basically doing what we're doing today in the UPK. You know, today in the UPK, what do they say we do what do we do when we celebrating the feast days? When we're going, when we're keeping the Sabbath, you know what I'm saying? When we doing these things, when we go to the Passover, what are we doing? What's a common thing that we say? Go ahead.
Well, for one, we salute the Torah every Sabbath.
It's not what I'm looking for.
Since like common thing that we say or we do, common thing that we do.
Something we say about what we do when we celebrate our high holy days, when we put on our garments, when we do these things. What do they say that we are doing? Even, oftentimes we're being told we can't keep our feast days, can't keep do this because we're not in our own land. But what is it that's it's in the Bible? You understand? What are we doing when we do those things? For time's sake, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. You understand? And that's what the Native Americans do with the totem pole. That is them rehearsing the righteous acts, even though they don't physically have the Ark of the Covenant. You understand? They're rehearsing the righteous act as if they do have the Ark of the Covenant.
Right.
You understand? They even kept the feast days because they're rehearsing the righteous acts. All of this is wisdom that was passed down from our forefathers, and it happened to be written in the Bible. And all of this wisdom that was written in the Bible was passed down through the generations amongst the North American Indians. Right. You understand? Read on.
The ceremonies of the Indians in their religious worship are more after the Mosaic institution. Mosaic institution.
And what does that mean? Mosaic institution. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's saying that read it again.
Oh, it's like the ceremonies of the Indians in their religious worship are more after the Mosaic institution.
It says the ceremonies are more after the ceremonies in their what else does it say? Ceremonies in the what?
Ceremonies of the Indians in their religious worship.
And their religious worship. Read on.
And more after the Mosaic institution.
Are more so like the Mosaic institution. What does that mean? Go ahead.
So they follow the law, statutes, commandments.
Why do you say that?
Or they try to keep the commandments.
Why do you say that?
Because it said there's ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
So more like their sacrifices or the things that they hold.
It's written right there.
I'm trying to
Go ahead now, y'all.
I mean, so Mosaic is kind of like it's saying like they keeping the laws of Moses.
Right. Get that brother a hand. You understand? That's what I was looking for. You understand? When it says that their feasts and their culture, their customs were more like the Mosaic institution. Right. So the Mosaic, that comes from what we call the Mosaic law, right, or what the world calls the Mosaic law, or the laws of Moses. You understand? Meaning that they keeping customs and culture. Their culture is like it came from Moses. Like Moses said this. You understand? So that means that they're doing what? They keeping high holy days. They keeping the Passover, Feast of Tabernacles. Right. You understand? Feast of Tabernacles, they putting up teepees. Right. You understand? Sleeping in teepees. Right. You understand? Feast of First Fruits, memorial blowing of trumpets. Right. You understand? They're keeping these high holy days. You understand? Honoring the Sabbath. You understand? What's a famous Native American term? Y'all ever heard the term many moons?
Yeah.
Like that happened many moons ago.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know.
You understand? Native Americans, their entire culture comes from the Bible.
Right.
You understand? That's why they say many moons. You understand? Our person come over here talking about many moons. What is he talking about? You understand? The month don't start. They ain't got nothing to do with the moon. The month started January 1st. You understand? You understand? But the tribes, they had wisdom and understanding. You understand? They had the law, statutes, and commandments. They knew them. They were passed down through their generations.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Okay, so the ceremonies of the Indians in their religious worship are more after the Mosaic institution than a pagan institution.
Read that part.
Like it, more than a pagan imitation. But I'm gonna read it again. So
read it again.
The ceremonies of the Indians in their religious worship are more after the Mosaic institution than a pagan imitation.
Go ahead, Shaw.
Like that's comparison. Like it's comparison Mosaic and it's comparing pagan.
Right.
You understand that we understand what pagan is, we understand pagan is man-made. And how you just broke down what Mosaic was what the Lord, Moses' law, what the Lord gave to Moses. You understand me? And this book hit. You understand? That's heavy. Right. You understand? It's like that's all I want to say. You got sympathy eyes right there.
Most High in Christ. So yeah, so the Native Americans,
Right.
their culture came straight out of the Mosaic law,
right.
Straight out of the laws of Moses, straight out of Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Exodus. You understand? Numbers, Genesis.
Right.
You understand? That's where their culture came from.
Right.
Culture came straight up out of there. Shalom, sis. You understand? And so with James Adair was an educated man.
Right.
You understand? He was a rich man. He had many books. And see, back during these days, it was very hard to come by books. Only the rich people had books.
Right.
You understand? James Adair had many books, specifically the Bible. You understand? So James Adair was a well-studied person. He knew about all different types of cultures because he was a salesman.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
So I was just about to ask, is James Adair brother or is that Esau?
Nah, James Adair is an Edomite. You understand?
I want to know because Adair, I think that's like a Edomite last name.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. James Adair was definitely an Edomite. You understand? During these times, these are during the times prior to, or if not, it was like immediately after or right around like the time of soon after the American Revolution. You understand? I know South Carolina was a colony or a state.
Right.
You know, so there was like, you know, the 13 colonies. It wasn't a full-blown America. You understand? But there were the original colonies that existed. And James Adair was from South Carolina. And during that time, you know, brothers, they was slaves on plantations during these days. You understand? Read on.
Which could not be if the majority of the old natives were of heathenish descent.
You understand? Now that is important. It says that it's impossible for the Native Americans to believe in the Most High, to have the customs and the cultures that they have, if they were not the Hebrews, if they were not the Israelites, if they were not one of the 12 tribes. It's impossible for them to know the things that they know.
Right.
Nobody came over here and taught them the name of the Most High.
That's right.
You understand?
Right.
They just now got there. They trying to figure out how they can rob, steal, and kill. Something like it. Rob, steal, and exterminate the North American Indians. You understand? So they ain't got time to go out here and try to teach them. Why would they teach them things that they don't even know? You know, that the middle class Caucasian probably didn't even know who Moses was during these times. You understand? Well, I take that back. You know, a lot of them was Christians and disgusting, and you know, did all sorts of abominations before the Lord and tried to call themselves righteous men. But you know, they were like Christians. You know, Christians don't know the Bible. They know just enough to be able to act like they know something about the Bible. They know John 3:16. You know, they know all the good Christian scriptures. Right. The handful of scriptures that they pull out the Bible. They know the 23rd Psalm. Yeah. I channel my Charleston White with that. Yeah. Say, nah. Yeah. You understand? Read on.
Oh, slight. So just to be.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to read all the highlighted or just?
Read the next highlighted. Are you already finished with that paragraph? All right, go ahead and read the next highlighted section. Okay.
Or even was a man known to have gone into his own wife.
Matter of fact, skip that one. Go to the next one.
But the red Americans firmly believe.
Read the section, the sentence before that one.
Which the Greeks and Romans changed into.
Read back a little further back. Okay. One more sentence.
Okay. The neighboring heathens round Judea each built a temple to the supposed God that presided over the land. Rimmon was the Syrian god of pomegranate.
Pomegranate?
I don't know how to say.
Let me see.
It's like a pomegranate.
Oh, pomegranates.
That's what it say. Pomegranates. I don't know why it's true.
Go ahead.
The Syrian god of pomegranates, like the Philistines, likewise erected a temple to Dagon, who had first taught them the use of wheat, which the Greeks and Romans changed the Ceres, it's spelled S-E-R-E-S. Ceres, no, I'm just gonna skip. Ceres, the goddess of corn from the Hebrew. So, it's like it. That's the G. It's like Jerez, the goddess of corn from the Hebrew. Jerez, which signifies grain. But the red Americans firmly believe that.
So he's talking about all the different gods of all the different people that were claimed to be the ancestors of the Native Americans, right, such as the Persians, the Assyrians. You know, they were, because they wasn't saying they came from Chinese people back then. Back then, they wasn't saying that. That's a modern thing that they came from Chinese people. Back then, they were saying, oh, they came from the Arab people. They came from the Elamites or the Ishmaelites. They came from them. That's who these Native American people are. But he's looking at their cultures and their customs, saying that they built gods for pomegranates and gods for corn and, you know, all these other gods or goddesses, right? But the red American, read on.
But the red Americans firmly believe that their war captains and their reputed prophets gain success over their enemies and bring a seasonable rain by the immediate reflection of their divine fire.
You understand?
Cooperating with
that
them.
That divine fire, what cooperating with them.
Like.
So what they're saying is that, okay, these other nations The way they worship their God is different from the way the Native Americans worship their God. The way the other nations worship their God is they built temples and went and stood in the temple and danced and sang and played music and molested children and did all types of, slept with each other's wives and all type of disgusting things that went on in these temples. You understand? Right. They worship pomegranates and grapefruits and Caesar salads, you know, and all different types of things that they worship in these religions, right? But the Native Americans, the way they worship their God is they believe that their captains, their generals, their prophets were all given power from the Most High, and the Lord was going to be with them in battle. They worship the Most High by following the laws, by keeping those customs, and going out in war, knowing that their God was with them, was actually working with them, cooperating with them was the word that they used. Right. You understand? They went to war with the understanding that the Lord is with me. I don't know how we're gonna win this war, but we're gonna go. And they believe that a mountain, it would be a rock slide, and a rock slide would take out their enemies in the middle of battle. You understand? That was how the Native Americans worship the Most High. Go ahead. That's the wild. Yeah, go ahead. Read on.
But the Indian Americans are so far from the adultery of the Sidonians, like that their esteem fish only as they are useful to support of human life.
Skip that one. Go to the next one.
They pay no religious worship to stock or stones.
Read that again.
It's like they pay no religious worship to stocks or stones.
Read that again.
They pay no religious worship to stocks or stones.
You understand? It says they pay no religious worship to stocks or stones. You understand? And how many times have we heard that they say the Native Americans worship the sun, right, or the moon, or the stars, or plants, or water, or you know, or wind, or birds, and things like that? Go ahead.
People have been talking about like fall equinox or something. Did that come from them?
The fall equinox. The fall equinox. The only thing that is something that our oppressor created, to where basically it's like what is it? I think the fall is like when it's like daylight savings time, right, or something like that, where we gain an hour, lose an hour in the day, or something like that. But see, we don't go by the hour anyway. You know, in our culture, we don't go by the hours. We in fact, a day is not even 24 hours. Right. You know, if I'm not mistaken, what a day is like 24 point something point. Yes, it's not even exactly 24 hours. You know, even our oppressor's math is wrong. You know what I mean? He's incorrect. It's not even 365 days in a year. You understand? So every time that clock goes a different way, you know, it's all roundabout. Nothing is absolute and exact, because, you know, but the fall equinox, I believe that's when we lose an hour. So it's like daylight savings time. There's like a spring equinox where we get an extra hour or something. What is it? Like I don't even know. I get yeah. Well, spring forward, fall back. Yeah, that's how it goes. So fall equinox, the clock goes back an hour. Spring equinox, the clock goes forward an hour. So in the spring, we lose an hour. In the fall, we gain an hour.
Who made that up?
Some Edomite that thought it was just the smartest thing. What? Because see, the reason why they do that is because they're incorrect. That's why we have leap years, because they're incorrect. You understand? That's why February 29th exists. Because Esau is wrong. He don't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? All that math just to be wrong. All that math and calculations. just to be wrong. You understand? Go ahead.
I know this kind of sound crazy, but you know how we talking about how they said they didn't worship stocks and stones.
Mm-hmm.
You know that show, that cartoon Avatar. I was about to ask, were those
talking about
remember the one that had the little
the airbender?
Yeah, the airbender. Were those Indians? Were those supposed to be like Indians in that cartoon?
No, that's like Shaolin monks. I don't know. I never really watched it. The only thing I know about the show is that one of them could make air do stuff, and he had a bald head with an arrow on it. I think the arrow lit up. Go ahead. I like it. I know a lot of brothers might beef with me over this, but I don't watch anime. Right. You know what I mean? I think the last anime I watched was Dragon Ball Z. You know what I'm saying? And I think the last thing I remember was the Cell Saga, I think. And after that, I ain't, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
I feel like with these coaches, like the culture who made Avatar, made it as they people. Feel me? Like Dragon Ball Z, they made goddamn Goku and Vegeta and them all them boys, the Japanese people, but they use Bible off their story mode. You understand? Because they say they got 12 universes. That's one power, the Omni King watching over the 12 universes. 12 universes run the whole thing. They get 12 from the 12 disciples, with the 12 disciples, the 12 tribe. It's about who made it, what country made it. You feel me? But it's all got something to do with us, man. Ain't nobody like damn Israel. Like, how you look at it?
That's heavy. Because I mean, even in this book, you know, he mentioned earlier that all the other nations of the earth created their gods to look like them. You understand? Whereas the Native Americans, they didn't do that. They worshiped the true God. You understand? Yahweh. You understand? And so that, you know, that makes perfect sense. And you know that they would do that. And you know, of course, they you know, I don't give these heathens credit enough to be able to think that they could come up with such brilliant ideas other than stealing it from us and at some form of capacity and remixing it to be their own. Right. You understand? Like almost every invention that we use on a day-to-day basis was invented by blacks and Hispanics. You understand? And the thing is, it's crazy because like Yahweh shall say, you know, that black people and Hispanics and Native Americans are the salt of the earth. Yeah. You understand? I eat a lot of steak. And I'll tell you what, I done had some steak without enough salt on it, and it ain't good. You understand? But just a little bit of salt can change the whole game on one little piece of steak. You understand? Right. So it's like without blacks and Hispanics, this world is in the Stone Age.
Right. That's right.
You understand? This world would be in the Stone Age. America would still be riding horse and buggy were it not for a black man. Were it not for blacks and Hispanics, America would still be horse and buggy. The world would be horse and buggy. Wouldn't be no airplanes. Wouldn't be no none of that. Right. You understand? So, like,
are you taking any random questions?
Go ahead.
It's a brother says, I don't know if it's a brother or sister, but it just says M&B Media Management. They say, what does 1969 signify?
What? Okay. What do you mean? Like, are you talking about as far as UPK? When a UPK, we talk about 1969 and things like that. Okay. So to answer that question, in 1969. Okay, so like before 1969, there was a brother by the name of Abba Bivens who came to New York from Florida, and you know he was taught that he was an Israelite, You understand? He was taught the law, statutes, and commandments and the customs of the Israelites according to the Bible. He came to New York to and started to teach brothers. He started teaching brothers what he was taught.
Right.
And after he was murdered by the Nation of Islam, the 7 brothers that he taught the truth to came together and started the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and he started that in 1969. You understand? So the 1969 signifies the official beginning of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which is completely different from any other Israelite group. You know, other Israelite groups started in 95, 2023. You understand? But the ISUPK started in 1969. You understand? The teachings of the I.S.U.P.K existed even before 1969, but in 1969 is when the I.S.U.P.K officially became an official organization. Any other questions?
COMCAST. So he said, how did the Gentiles receive the blessings of God?
How did the Gentiles so what Gentiles are we talking about, and what blessings did they receive from God? You know, that's what I want to know. What Gentiles are we talking about, and what blessings are we referring to? He said, how did the Gentiles receive the blessings? He said, how does or how did?
He said, how did the Gentiles receive the blessings of God?
Because I could answer it for you real quick, but I just want some clarification. Go ahead and get back to while he's answering that or giving us some more clarification. Go ahead and continue to read. Is there any other questions in there?
Live, sir. We
All right.
got something relevant.
Go ahead and continue to read.
They pay no religious worship to stocks or stones after the manner of the old Eastern pagans.
So he said that the Native Americans did not worship things like the other pagan nations did in the Middle East. Because like I said, at this time, you know, people suspected that the Native Americans came from the Middle East. They never suspected that they were Chinese. That's a new thing. You understand? They suspected that the Native Americans were from the Middle East. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let me know when he answers.
Okay.
He or she or
neither do they worship any kind of images whatsoever.
So neither do they worship any kind of images whatsoever, which is completely different from all the other nations.
Right.
In America, even in the Christian church, you see all types of images that they worship, they bow down and pray to. You understand? I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I saw grown men standing in front of statues, touching the feet, praying, talking about Hail Mary. You understand? I saw they used to have these things called a rosary. Y'all know what a rosary is?
Oh God! So
they
the thing that it goes like into one little
right. And believe it or not, as weird as it sounds, it looked like a necklace, but it ain't.
Right.
You understand? That's what used to trip me out about it. You understand? I was in church. I would wear it around my neck. I'm like, I ain't gonna wear that on your neck. Well, it's a necklace, ain't it? No, it ain't. It's a rosary. Y'all tripping. Y'all bugging. It look like a necklace. It feel like a necklace. It's a necklace. Go ahead.
I was commenting on the comment about the Gentiles because I was a little confused about that too. Because when I was reading scripture, like this one right here, Acts 28.
Go ahead, pull that scripture for the sister.
Acts 28.
Acts 28 and 28. Go ahead and read that for the sister. All right, we about to get it.
So we can get a breakdown. I feel like I know what the Gentiles are a part of Israel. That's what I think. I want to be right.
No sweat.
You said Acts 28 and 28.
Mhm.
This is Acts chapter 28, verse 28. Be it known therefore unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto sent unto the Gentiles, and that they were here. It's like, and that they were hear it. Gonna read that again.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, read it again.
Be it known therefore unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and they will hear it.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, so you're one. So what's your question about the scriptures?
I was confused because I know I read in the scriptures that God only sent for Israel,
Right.
but then I be seeing scriptures like that where it's talking about Gentiles having salvation, and it confused.
Understood. Okay. All right. No sweat. Give me Gentiles in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Okay. No sweat.
Not everybody will know.
Right. Okay, I got it.
All right, before you read that real quick, before you came into the UPK, before you learned that you were an Israelite, what did you say that you were?
I just said I was a child of God.
Okay, what do most people say they are?
Christians again.
Okay, what about American or African American?
I just said I was black.
Okay, black. That's a term, but I'm sure there's people that call themselves American, African American, or Mexican or Hispanic American.
I didn't call myself American because I felt like American never did for black people.
Most High in Christ. Get that sister a hand. Get that sister a hand. You know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ. But many of our people identify as American or African American or Hispanic American, Mexican American, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican. You understand? Many of our people refer to ourselves as names that were given to us. Right. You understand? If we live in America, we call ourselves American. If we lived in the United Kingdom, we would call ourselves British. I think that's what they call. If we lived in France, we would call ourselves French. You understand? So we name ourselves after the other nations. So the term Gentile does not always mean someone who is a bloodline descendant of another nation. The term Gentile, let's get it in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
This is the definition of Gentile in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Usually it means a non-Israelite.
So usually it means a non-Israelite people, right? So usually it means a white man or Chinese man, an African man, right. Arab man. That's usually what it means, right? Read on.
Under conditions of peace, considerate treatment was according to Gentiles by the Israelites under the Old Testament law.
Go ahead, read on.
Often married Gentile women, of whom Rahab.
Okay, so usually Gentile means another nation. And give me Hellenist. Look up what a Hellenist is.
All right. This is the definition of Hellenist in the Oxford Language Dictionary. Jews who made Greek their tongue.
Word it again.
Jews who made Greek their tongue.
Read it again.
Jews who made Greek their tongue.
So Hellenists were Jews who made Greek their tongue. You understand? Read on.
And with it often adopted Greek ideas.
And with it often adopted Greek ideas. So it's like a Hellenist was a more modern term for Gentile at that time. You understand? So today, in modern day time, you understand, we're talking about someone who a black man who's from the tribe of Judah who calls himself American. You understand? Who made English his tongue. You understand? And took up the ideals of America. You understand? So read on. Go ahead and read on.
That was like it just said and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices. And that's it on that.
All right, Most High in Christ. So here's the thing, right? I want you to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2, Baba Kashah. Matter of fact, start at verse 1.
First Corinthians 12 and 1.
Yeah, 12 and 1.
Okay. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brothers.
Who?
Now concerning spiritual gifts, brothers.
Who?
Now concerning spiritual gifts, brothers.
So he's talking about these so-called blessings. Right. But who is he talking to? He's talking to the Israelite. He's talking to his brethren. You understand? Keep that in mind. He's talking to his brethren. He's talking to Israelites. He's talking to Jews. Read on.
I would not have you ignorant.
He said, I would not have you ignorant. I would not have you not understanding what's going on. You understand? Read on.
Verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Read that again.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Read that again.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
So who are the Jews?
Ye it's like ye know that ye were Gentiles.
You understand? He's saying that he's talking to his brethren. He's saying that his brethren knew that they were Gentiles.
That's what I thought, that Gentiles were meaning Israelites that lost their way.
Correct. That's exactly what it means. You understand? Get that sister a hand. You understand? That's exactly what that means. You understand? Read on.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Go ahead.
Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Now go back to Hellenists.
Come. All right. Jews who made Greek their tongue.
You understand? So the scripture said that he's talking to his brethren, saying his brethren, they knew that they were Gentiles. You understand? And it says that they were carried away unto these dumb idols, right, these other gods, keeping these other customs, following this whole different way of life, this whole different thinking and ideology. You understand? But read on.
Jews who made Greek their tongue.
So a Hellenist or a Gentile, someone who took up another language. Read on.
And with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices.
And adopted ideas and practices of this other nation. So that is what a Gentile is. It is a brother or sister. It's not just the other nations. You understand? To make it more specific, the other nations are heathens.
Right.
And to break it down, make it a little simpler for people to understand. The Gentiles in this context is talking about brothers and sisters who, you know how they say converted to Islam, converted to Christianity. Well, these are brothers and sisters who converted to American, right, as opposed to being from the tribe of Judah. You understand? A Gentile is a Mexican who converted to Roman Catholic. Right. You understand? That's what a Gentile is. You understand? So in the context of that scripture, that's what it means. Go ahead.
It's like, so if I may just give an example, like our mothers, our dads, our fathers, our granddads, and all that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't claim to be Israelites. They don't know who they Israelites. They know more of keeping Christmas, Halloween, birthdays, pagan traditions of America. You know what I'm saying? More than they know of they are Israelites coming to the Sabbath service and all that stuff, like on Saturdays and all that stuff. They don't know nothing about that. So the Lord considered them as Gentiles. Just like what I want about the Hellenistic, you know what I'm saying, is the brothers that spoke Greek, made Greek their tongue and adopted their idols, the same as our people nowadays, how we accept America, how we speak English. That scripture today will be saying the brothers that spoke English and celebrated paganism, you understand? You know, those are Gentiles. So, you know what I'm saying? There's ways of Gentile, like I want to say, it's like,
Ain't no sweat.
Right.
Did that answer your question, sis?
Yes, sir. I already knew the answer. I just wanted to.
She just wanted to
I just wanted the people on there to get.
she's the one. She's the one to steer it in her mind. You understand? Did that brother?
I mean, I would, y'all basically, I think y'all answered what he was asking, but he said the Gentiles are in control now, and the real Israelites are scattered. And then he also said, what did the Israelites do to lose the favor of good?
Okay, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15, Baba Kasha. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 1. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 27 and 1. Matter of fact, just give me 28. So like,
Deuteronomy chapter 28. Verse 1.
So like it. Give me 27. So like
Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
So Moses, when we came up out of Egypt, the Most High told Moses to go tell the children of Israel to keep all the commandments which I command you this day. You understand? To keep them. Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. Don't sleep with your brother's wife. Don't sleep with Caucasian women. You understand? Don't be a LGBT member. You understand? Keep the high holy days. Keep the Sabbath. You understand? He gave them the law, statutes, and commandments and told him to keep those commandments. You understand? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 1, Baba Shah.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now it says, if you keep the words of God, then it shall come to pass. What? Go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
To observe and do all the commandments. So if we keep these commandments, there's something that the Lord said is going to come to pass. Read on.
Which I command thee this day. The Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So if we keep the Most High said, if we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, then we would be placed on high above all nations that are on the earth. Now drop down to verse 15.
Okay, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
But if we don't keep the commandments, then it shall come to pass. Read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
To do everything the Most High say. Read on.
And his statutes.
Go ahead.
Which I command thee this day.
Uh-huh.
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
That what?
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
So if we didn't keep the commandments, God said all these curses was going to come upon us. Right. You understand? Now I want you to drop down to verse 28:68, Baba Shah.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Lord said, but if we break the commandments, he was going to send us in the slavery on ships. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So we're not going to see our homeland again. Right. And just like right here, right now, we still sitting here right now. Ain't been back home yet. Go ahead.
Right. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Shall be what?
It's like and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So the Lord said he's going to sell us to our enemies. You understand? To our enemies, the so-called our oppressor. he's not so-called. You understand? Our oppressor, we're going to be sold to our enemies. He's not our friend. You understand? Read on.
For bondmen and bondwomen,
We know
no man shall buy you.
Now, when it says that no man shall buy you, you understand? That is an old Quaker English word that means to redeem. It's not buy as in nobody going to pay for you. Because though they definitely paying for slaves, they still doing that in the NFL Combine. You understand? You seen the NFL Combine looks exactly like a slave auction. You understand? In the NFL Combine, what do? They measure your arms, how much you weigh. They see how high you can jump, see how fast you can run, how strong you are. And they right, hey, sitting over there with their little clocks and they, oh yeah, he's strong. Yeah. Look at his teeth. Let's check his teeth. Oh yeah. Let's write down. He got all his teeth. You understand? They keeping all them notes because when they go to this auction block, they say, I got this strapping bull, 6'8", 400 pounds, bench press 1,000 pounds. Right. You understand? Got all his teeth in his mouth, dumb as a box of rocks. You understand? But he can lift a whole horse and carriage up over his head. I got him for $10,000. Right. Yeah, they was paying for that. They was buying slaves. So the word buy means to redeem. See, this King James Version was written in Quaker English. Right. We don't speak Quaker English today. That's why so many people get twisted over the word virgin. You understand? They think Mary ain't get her cheeks clapped. It's a lot. You understand? They think Mary out here giving birth to magic babies. She out here having demigods and Hercules and Perseus and all them. You understand? But that's not the case. You understand? That's because this Bible was written in Quaker English. The word buy means to redeem. No man shall redeem you. Right. You understand? No man is going to deliver you from this captivity. You understand? So to answer your question real quick, what caused us to lose favor with the Most High was that we stopped keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. We broke the covenant with the Most High. Where the Most High said he gave us the commandments and told us that if we keep the commandments, he was going to set us on high above every nation on the earth. We was going to rule the globe. All we had to do was stay solid, stay down. You understand? But we were seduced by the cultures of the other nations. Right. You understand? We were seduced by the Greeks and the Romans and then the Persians. You understand? We looked at they women was like, man, she kind of cute over there with that flat butt. You understand? With that stringy hair. You understand? With that, with them hairy armpits. You understand? Like them dogs over there with them blue eyes. You understand? We started to get seduced by the culture and the customs of these other nations to the point where we preferred their culture over our own. You understand? And the Lord said that Israel is like a wife unto him. Like he's a husband unto the nation of Israel. So what would any husband do whose wife preferred the embrace of another man over him?
Like, sir, I got real
Go ahead.
Yeah, cut that mother crapper off.
Yeah, you cut off. Yeah, you for the streets. You understand? And the Lord said, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull this one more scripture and then we'll go ahead and end the class. You understand? Give me 1 second. Give me verse 47.
Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah, 28 verse 47.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
Go ahead.
Verse 48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
So therefore, since you chose not to serve the Lord, and we chose to go out here and chase after the Greeks and the Romans, right, and then go play go get naked in their gymnasiums with the Greeks and the Romans, then the Lord said you're gonna serve them because they're your enemies. They're not your friends. You understand? The Lakers ain't friends with the Celtics.
Right.
You understand? The Yankees ain't friends with the Red Sox. You understand? They're enemies. Not saying, of course, there's those sports, there's sportsmanship, things like that. But when it comes to the actual game of basketball, the Boston Celtics are not on the same team with the Los Angeles Lakers. They're on two different teams. They're opposing teams, opposing units, opposing factions. You understand? So since you chose not to serve the Lord, then you're going to serve your enemies. You understand? Read on.
In hunger.
In hunger, meaning every bite of food that you eat is going to be gained at the behest of your enemy. Read on.
And in thirst.
Every drop of water you drink is going to come from you serving your enemies. Read on.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness, every stitch of clothing that you buy, every Nike, every Jordan, every Reebok, every Balenciaga, every Yeezy that you wear is going to come from the behest of your enemies. I like Kanye shoes. I got a few pair. You know what I'm saying? They the most comfortable shoes, sneakers I've never had. Salaka. I don't know what brothers feel about Yeezy and Kanye, but I like them Yeezys. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But even though Kanye and all his riches and all his connections, he had to go through Adidas. He had to get Adidas to back him in order to make his shoe.
Right.
Because if he didn't, there'd be Yeezys. Wouldn't be no Adidas. He wouldn't need Adidas. You know what I'm saying? But even Kanye, as rich as he is, he has to serve his enemies. You understand? Read on.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. Our oppressor, he don't live in want of all things. You understand? I had a conversation with some oppressors one time. It was years ago. I think I was a trooper at the time. I don't even think I was a trooper yet. I think I was a trooper. But we was sitting around talking, and they was asking me a question about how I felt when something happened. And I thought about, I thought before I answered. And I remember I was like, the way I felt about what happened, I can't remember what happened, but I was like, you know that feeling that you get when someone real close to you dies all of a sudden, like they either get murdered or get killed or something like that, like how it feels like when one of your close friends get killed, and then all them devils, it was 3 of them. They said, man, like. It's like, the only person I know that ever died was my great aunt. And the other person, like, the only person I know that died was my great grandfather. And the other person, like, maybe like a great uncle died. Aside from that, I can't think of nobody that I know that was close to that died. And I just sat back, flabbergasted. And I just started to just reflect in my brain, like, all the friends I had that didn't even survive high school. Like by the time I was 18 years old, I felt like I was a sole survivor.
Right.
I had to hang with a whole new group of friends down there because almost all my friends was either dead or in prison. I mean, I don't have enough fingers to count how many of my friends were murdered before I graduated high school. I don't have enough fingers and toes. And I thought about every time, it just dawned on me that we do not live in the same world. We share air, we share this country, we share this planet, but we do not live in the same world. You understand? And that day right there, that scripture about God so loved the world just rung clear as a bell to me in my brain. I'm like, now I understand that we live in different worlds. You understand? When God so loved the world, he ain't talking about y'all. You understand? Because y'all good. You understand? But us, on the other hand, we destroy. You understand? And we are in want of all things. You understand? They have everything because they murdered for it. They stole for it. They got, man, listen, they got good credit by the time they 21. They can go out first time home buyer, buy them a brand new house, get married by 22, got kids by 24, got 2 cars, the house, mortgage, you understand, all these things by the time they 25. But black people, we just trying to survive. We want to live. We ain't want of all things. Go ahead.
It's like, sir, it's like one of my articles I love to pull at camp, you know what I'm saying, with my heaven and hell breakdown is like, you know what I'm saying, it says a white high school dropout is more successful than a black and Hispanic college graduate.
And that's facts. You understand? That is facts. You understand? I know many brothers who graduated college working at the Frigidaire. You understand? Working at BMW, college degrees.
Right.
You understand? It's brothers right now working at Subway, at Old Charlie's, that got college degrees.
Right.
You think I'm lying?
You're right.
It's brothers cutting grass with college degrees. Who walking at the car rental place with college degrees. You understand? Meanwhile, you got Edomites that ain't got no license. They got a job as a TIG welder, making $100,000 a year, just because they can make a straight line with a sparkler. You understand? Go ahead. Somebody else had it.
I was just gonna agree because I mean I didn't want to put my aunt on blast. I'm gonna say her name, but my aunt, she has a whole business degree and she work at Walgreens.
Good night. We are in one of all things. You understand? Anything else on that scripture?
It is.
Go ahead. Yeah, and yoke of iron.
Oh yeah, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has been destroyed.
He said he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So let me ask you a question. Do we have yokes of iron on our neck right now?
Yes, sir.
No. I don't see no yokes of iron. Do you have a yoke of iron?
Nah.
Now y'all got a yoke of iron. Am I blind? Am I that blind? You know, do the cars got a yoke of iron? Do we got iron shackles on our necks right now? Nah. So what does that mean? Go ahead. No, it means that he has destroyed us. It said he shall put a yoke of iron on our neck until he have destroyed thee. We are destroyed. We like, you know how we're like the dog that's been trained not to run out of the yard.
Yeah, we got that shock collar.
Yeah, we got a shock collar on now. You understand? Matter of fact, we so trained we don't even need a shock collar.
Right.
You understand? You know how many brothers are then killed 20, 30 black men. You understand? But ain't never laid a hand on a white man. Because we are destroyed. Because we done had yokes of iron upon our neck until we've been destroyed. The Ku Klux Klan, they say they don't have to terrorize our neighborhoods no more because they've taught us how to terrorize each other. They taught us how to keep each other in slavery. You understand? So, you know what I mean? Now they on autopilot. They're like, man, we ain't even got to go out there and hang no colors today. You understand? We ain't got to go hang no colors today. They hanging each other. You understand? Because of the systematic oppression that has relentlessly been forced on us since slavery. You understand? And here's the kicker. Give me verse 45. And then we're gonna go ahead and end the class.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee.
So all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee. Meaning you ain't gonna run, you ain't gonna move to Damona, Israel, and flee Babylon and escape these curses. You're not gonna go and buy land out in Ghana and think that you avoiding these curses. You understand? You're not gonna go move to Barbados and think you're gonna avoid the curses of the Most High. They're gonna pursue you. You understand? Read on. You're not gonna move to Russia, China, Dubai. What's his name? Andrew Tate moved to Romania. You understand? For those that don't know, he is a black man from the tribe of Judah, or maybe Benjamin. I have yet to confirm that, but he's an Israelite. He's one of the 12 tribes. He's a brother. His father was a black man. He got rich and moved to Romania, thinking life is great. Oh, the Romanians are so amazing. They're so great. They're so awesome. Well, what just happened this past year? You understand? He found out he was a black man when they threw him in that Romanian jail for months with no evidence. You understand? No matter where you go, these curses are going to pursue thee. You understand? Read on.
Till thou be destroyed.
Till thou be destroyed. Read on.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Because thou hast not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord thy God. That's why we're destroyed, to answer the brother's question. That is why. That is how the Hebrews became the oppressed.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead, sis.
I remember reading a verse though that says if we listen, then we can be redeemed.
Right, yeah. There's a few scriptures that say that. You know, if it says, if there's a scripture that says, yet if we bethink ourselves in the land of our captivity, then he gonna turn back his heart unto us and deliver us, and we will take captive whose captives we were. You understand? So all these oppressors that ruled over us, that put that serve us warrants and put handcuffs on our wrists and put their feet on our neck, that take our children from our homes. You understand? One day you are going to walk that oppressor down the street like a dog.
And smack them.
You understand? And they better and they better listen. Now, listen. My Edomites is going to be they not going to be able to ever look a brother or sister in the eye again. You understand? If a brother and sister come around, they are to immediately drop down to their hands and knees and look at the dirt. The only thing they allowed to see is boots, and they better kiss them. That's it. You understand? And if I catch them looking up, then I'm practicing my whip game. You understand? I'm practicing my whip game. I catch them looking up, I'm gonna crack them right across their nose with the whip. Fire. You understand? Put a whip mark. You know, during slavery, they had the marks all on their back. Hey, you gonna see them going across their eyes like a Mortal Kombat character. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, not as I can bar. Why are you slave? You don't hit them nowhere else but right here, right there across the eyes. Huh? You understand? Read on.
To keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded this day. And that's it.
Read on.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Now, what does that mean? And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. What does that mean? Go ahead.
It sounds like they said we'll never forget it.
Not quite. Go ahead.
They're gonna be upon us for like something, so we can understand and remember. So we'll know who we.
No. Go ahead. What does it mean when it says the curse is going to be upon us for a sign and for a wonder? Go ahead.
For a certain amount of time.
I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, last time. We're gonna wonder, okay. I guess we're gonna be like, we gotta be a superior people. Like we gotta be important. Some type of, I don't know.
Okay. I'll go ahead and explain it so we can go ahead and wrap up the class, right? So, of course, we all know that we was going to lose our culture, our heritage, our language, and everything, right? But it says these curses shall be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. What does a sign do? What is it? Go ahead.
It's going to be for a reminder.
No, it's not for a reminder.
The sign is supposed to give you a warning, right?
No. If you're driving down the street, you're on your way to Walmart. You don't got your GPS.
Right.
How are you going to find Walmart? You're going to look for the sign. So it's an identifying marker. It's how you're going to identify them. You understand? You're not going to identify them because they call themselves Jews.
Right.
That's not how you're going to pick. That's not how you're going to pick them out of lineup.
Right.
You're going to find them because of the curses in Deuteronomy.
Right.
Because everybody in the world didn't go into slavery on ships. Who else went into slavery on ships? I.S.U.P.K. Okay, who else? Outside of the tribes. Who else went into slavery on ships?
The stuff that I hear Edomite say, they say even, the oppressor has been they have been slaves. They have even said Chinese people has been
Chinese people got paid. They had a contract to come over here and build the Intercontinental Railroad. That's how the Chinese man got here. He was what you call an indentured servant. Look up what the word indentured means. Somebody look up indentured. Find me the meaning of the word indentured.
Slaves, I think I got it.
Go ahead.
Indenture is a legal contract.
What?
Is a legal contract.
Is a what?
A legal contract.
An indentured is a legal contract. Read on.
That reflects or covers a debt or purchase obligation.
That basically it's a contract. You understand? Today we call them contractors. That's what kind of slave the Chinese man was. He was a contractor, meaning that he got paid X amount of dollars and he had to do a particular job. He was a contractor. He was a contracted servant whose job it was to build the railroad. You understand? That's what an indentured servant was. You understand? Not the same thing as us. We were not called servants. We were slaves. We were property. We were not indentured. We were kidnapped. You understand? That what government did they sign a contract with to put us in slavery? They ain't sign no contract. What contract did our forefathers sign to come into slavery? They ain't signed no contract. You understand? So they didn't come into slavery on ships. They came and got a job on a ship. That's what they did. You understand? And then I'll tell you what else. Had they ever been back to their homeland? They've been back. They got China still exists. There's still a China. You understand? I can get a plane ticket and fly to China right now. You understand? And the only reason why I would even go to China is to buy some cheap shoes. Go ahead, up.
He was like that today. Like he was like just looking at me, man. He was like, go ahead, man. Why you gonna look at the slave for, man? You over here, you got a whole land and stuff. Why you over here looking at the slave, man? Go ahead, you got my face, man. I just had to tell him that. You already know you at. Go home.
So the Chinese man was a contractor. He was not a slave. He was an indentured servant. He was a contractor. Right. No different than, contract can be a handshake. Like, hey, man, fix my tires, I'll give you $50. All right, bet. He's an indentured servant. Me and him made a binding contract for him to do a particular job. And I'm either going to pay him or he's paying off a debt that he owes me. That's an indentured servant. I let him borrow $50. He ain't paying my $50, so he coming to cut my grass. Indentured servant. You know what I'm saying? That's not the same as slavery. You understand? It's not the same as not being able to legally marry your wife. That's not the same as your wife getting drugged out of your house in the middle of the night and gang raped. You understand? By the oppressors. You understand? That's not the same thing as getting drugged out in the street in front of your wife and your children and hung from a tree because some devil claimed that you looked at his daughter or his wife. You understand that indentured servants wasn't so like, did I say a bad word? Okay, most not right. Slavery, indentured servant doesn't mean that you was exterminated because of a false report. That happened to slaves. You understand? That happened to people who saw us as their enemy. You understand? And so when it says that these curses shall be upon us for a sign and for a wonder, meaning if you want to know who the 12 tribes are, look at the curses in the Bible. Right. And then look at who these curses, who is living this, whose life this is. Go ahead.
I saw the other day, I was watching YouTube, and I was watching stuff about slavery. And do you know that they pulled out parts, like the Deuteronomy curses parts out of the Bible, so that the slaves could not look at those parts to identify themselves? Like, they would snatch that part out. The Bible was at some kind of museum where, like, slave Bibles.
Yeah, they call them slave Bibles.
Chapters were ripped out of the Bible, but it didn't look like it was ripped out. It looked like a right Bible, but those certain, for the sign and wonders were ripped out. So slaves wouldn't know themselves, basically.
Right. And that's because, see, when blacks and Hispanics, see, here's the thing. This is what's so beautiful about this Bible. Is if we don't have all the distractions of oppression and drug addiction and fame and football and basketball and PS5, and if it was nothing but work and family and the Bible, we would pick up that Bible and we would know that we are the 12 tribes. Yeah. You understand? Because that's what happened in Haiti. That happened in Jamaica. That also happened in Mexico and in South America. I can't think of what's the what is the name of that group? What's that brother's name? Che Guevara. Hold on. Che Guevara. Let me see. It wasn't the Cuban Revolution. Give me 1 second. What is the name of that? I have to find it. You know, when I do a class on the Hispanics, I'm gonna make sure I bring that out. But there is I can't think of the name of it, but Che Guevara, and Che Guevara was a part of, there was a revolutionary movement happening in South America. And it was really all across the Hispanic culture. You had the Cuban Revolution, then you had Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico. You know, they were all uniting together. They all kind of had this unspoken, I'm not gonna say unspoken, but imagine if I'm trying to think of the name. I'm trying to think of how they called it. It's like you had all these different revolutionary groups, but they were all under a certain umbrella. And I can't remember what the name of that umbrella was. But they had these core principles. And the core principles that they had were from the Bible, were the brotherhood and from the Bible, because the Hispanics read the Bible. They weren't quite saying that we was Israelites, but they were saying, man, we just like them Israelites. We in the same boat. What they going through is what we going through. What they supposed to eventually go through is what we going through right now. They ain't quite put the dots together, but they was operating like we just like these people. So we need to do what these people saying that they have to do. We need to follow this same wisdom. So that's what was happening with the Hispanics. That's why Che Guevara was trying to link up with Malcolm X. You understand? Imagine how powerful that would have been. You understand? Black and brown would have united in the 60s. But here's the problem. The problem is they sent out religious agents before the UPK could even launch. Because if it would have just been the UPK, Che Guevara would have came and sat down with the 7 heads of the I.S.U.P.K, and then it would have been the kingdom of heaven.
All right.
You understand? But all things happen for a reason. You understand? You know, the Most High, he know what he's doing, and it's gonna all happen in his time. You understand? And with that, read that scripture again one more time, Baba Kasha.
That was verse
46. 46, yeah.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
You see those, well, that ain't a good example, but you see how we got a sign out in front of the school? That's how you identify our school. You understand? We ain't just sitting out there with a blank wall up.
Right.
You know, the 7-Eleven ain't, you know what I mean? They got a logo just like QT got a logo. Right. McDonald's got the big old golden arch. That's the sign. That's how you identify where McDonald's at. You understand? Well, these curses is how you're going to identify the 12 tribes. You understand? Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
And that's the heavy part. And upon thy seed forever. Right. You understand? And here we are in the last days, man. We right here in the home stretch. We so close to it. We are so close to the kingdom of heaven. You understand? That's why it's like, you know, like I remember back when I used to box, I developed this mentality when I used to box that it's like, you know how sometimes when you start getting close to the finish line, you start trying to slow down a little bit. But when you're doing your reps, you start slowing down a little bit. You're like, oh, you understand? If I'm getting that close to the end, you know what I try to do? I try to go harder. I try to push through with all my might. And that's what we need to do. We need to push through with all of our might, be stronger, get more into the spirit. You understand? Bring the kingdom faster. You understand? So that we can get the hell up out this hell, man. With that, I'll pass the class over to Priest and Officer now.
They're prison off. It's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to speak. Oh, it's like after this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi 3, 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will, that's like a free will offering for a priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation. We just had the Day of Atonement. So we got the Feast of Tabernacles, the 15th day of the 17th month for 8 days. It starts at Friday, the 29th September, on a Saturday, the 7th of October, 2023. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 34 through 44. Remind Akim and Akwaf to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, shalom. Oh, slide.
Go ahead and the line.
Go ahead. Sister said she want to get anointed at a one. So.